Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/best. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. There's my announcer voice. Let's get on with the show.
The Best in the World podcast with Richard Parr.
Shh! Don't tell anyone where I am. I'm in a secret location. The city and country that I'm in is under wraps because later this weekend I'm in this city for a very good friend of mine's stag, or if you're American, bachelor party this weekend. I've been trying really hard not to give the game away on social media, on Twitter, at Richard_Parr, on Facebook, Best in the World with Richard Parr. I've tried to keep it under wraps because I don't want him to know, because it's supposed to be a surprise. He arrives at the airport on Friday, and it's only then that his brother, the best man, will reveal where his weekend of, well, let's be honest, debauchery is going to be. So it's all very exciting for him. So I'm here a few days early just to get my bearings of this city, but I'm not going to say any more because I think I'm going to accidentally give the game away. Instead, I'm going to concentrate on this week's guest. It is our first cricketer on the podcast. I am pumped to have him on. It is Aaqib Javed. He was a bowler in Pakistan's successful 1992 World Cup winning campaign. He's now a coach with the UAE national team. Before that, he helped coach the Pakistan under-19 team to win their World Cup for the first time in 2004. He was also part of the coaching setup when Pakistan won the T20 World Cup. He was quite a controversial character. We get on to a few of those subjects, including his relationship with Waqar Younis and Wasim Akram, including the leadership of Imran Khan. Plus, in particular, I get his thoughts on ball tampering, whether Test cricket can return to Pakistan soon, and the current landscape of world cricket. So it's a really good chat with Aaqib Javed, our first cricketer on the podcast. I'm sure we'll have more to come. All you've got to do is stay tuned to the website richardparr.net and press that subscribe and download button on iTunes for the best in the world. So let's get to it. Here is Aaqib Javed.
The Best in the World podcast with Richard Parr.
Aaqib Javed, welcome to the Best in the World with Richard Parr. So you're currently coaching the UAE national team. 4 years in, are you still enjoying the role?
Yeah, it is. It is very challenging. It's getting tougher and tougher because we haven't progressed in a way because all the other associates are, almost full-time professional players. The UAE is the only associate team still relying on part-time players, which is, getting kind of frustrated at the moment. But still, it's a challenge. When people ask me that, are you still enjoying? So look, from age 16 onward, from 17, I'm almost a professional player. Then I was the youngest player and the youngest coach. Started earlier. I was about 17 when I started international cricket. Left earlier because there was issues going around cricket at that time. All the Justice Qayyum's inquiry and the court and all the match fixing stuff, and I went strongly against it. Opted to leave the game early, and then I was really young when I started coaching actually. And then our minds and body and so tuned up with the challenge every day. We never have the liberty of having a stable life like other people, like bankers or whatever. I mean, you have a job in the bank or you have a job somewhere else. So it's not like a sports life, especially with the fast bowlers. They have very short span in life, like maximum 10 to 12 years. And sometimes it's really funny when you meet somebody at the age of 32 and you said, "Oh, I'm a retired player," and the people who doesn't understand cricket, are you crazy? What? You retired? But you look so young. Why don't you continue playing? I said, "Look, this is a different role. You can't." So I mean, look, we brought up in a different way, and you have to have a different mindset to cope up with this lifestyle for a longer period. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's amazing because I'm 33, yet I only feel my career is starting. Yet for some of you elite sports people, the playing side ends at this age. It's quite amazing. Are there any regrets of anything you feel you missed in your life by being a sports person?
Sometimes, when I was talking to my daughter, she's 16 now. And sometimes it's frustrating for the whole family because I moved out from Pakistan 4 years back, and that decision I made was by my family. My daughter and wife pushed me to move to Dubai, and that wasn't an easy decision because you're leaving Pakistani team for the UAE, which is immature team, no standing, nothing. So I took that decision, and few days back we were discussing about future plan because 4 years in UAE. I said, look, I have to. This is the time I have to move on because I missed out few opportunities, few T20 opportunities like Bangladesh Cricket League, PSL, and the Caribbean League because I can't commit to it because I'm busy with the UAE commitments. And she just get worried. Are we moving from Dubai? I mean, he said, what kind of life do you have? I mean, there is no stability. We can't say this is our home. I said, look, our home is in Pakistan. Okay, wherever we go, we got assignments where we can spend few years, and we head back to Pakistan. That's our home. So sometimes it's really difficult to convince others because my mind, if I have to deal with myself, it's easier. But to explain to your family, your daughters, your wife, and your parents, it's so difficult. This is the same thing. What when you play the game, you just control one body and mind. But when you coach, it's about different minds. Not your mind. You're not your body, and you understand others and try to manage them. So it's really frustrating for the family point of view. But otherwise, I think I have really enjoyed it. Achieved few things as player, and already, as coach, is still in a mid age, 40 in 40s. So I think I have achieved a little bit in coaching. So I think it's more to come. I think no regrets. I think I have done reasonably well in all part of life.
Well, as you mentioned there, you've been one of the youngest players, one of the youngest coaches. It sounds like your time with the UAE is not going to be for too much longer. What's your next goal? What's your next aim? What would you like to do?
I mean, look, one thing of moving forward, the highest goal was in my life was to, be part of World Cup winning team, which happened in '92, and then as coach, that was really exciting when we won the first ever under-19 World Cup as coach, and then I was a part of Pakistani T20 squad, which We won T20 World Cup in England in 2009. And I think my dream is to win a World Cup as head coach, and most probably from Pakistan, because I mean, wherever you go, whatever you work, but you can't feel the same way where you can, feel from your home country. And I think nothing like it when you work for Pakistan and do well. So that's my next goal is, and I think I'm going towards that, and hopefully, I think that's the only thing what would strive me to go back and work for Pakistan cricket again.
What do you think it was? What did you bring to the under-19 team from the experience of winning in '92? What did you tell them about winning a World Cup, which you think may have helped them win that tournament?
I mean, look, it's about your mindset. We've been through so many phases in life. I have seen when you run in and everything, it's in your control. When you say, "Oh, I'm in a good rhythm." Rhythm means when your body and mind working in the same lines with best of the best coordination. That means you are in control. You are striving towards the goal, which is success. And once you feel that you're not in the rhythm, means your connection, mind body connection is not there. We have learned from Imran from '92 that he was the one who was ahead of everyone. His perception was very clear. He was, I think, a little bit a higher scale than anyone else. He sensed victory before anyone else, and that's what the champion does. They always ahead of others, as bowler, as team, as captain. I mean, you have to be ahead of others. You have more options, and you always learn from your mistakes and move forward than anyone else. And secondly, I have learned from that '92 victory was the believing in yourself. How do you believe? Believe is like on your skills, on your mind. Because look, cricket is not the ultimate fitness fanatic sport, because it demands a good level of fitness, but not as fit as the rugby players and football players. It's a game of your character. It tests you in a different ways. Different, you have to perform different skills at the same time. It's about the mind game. It's about how do you take the pressure? How do you read a situation? How can you foresee a result? How can you foresee what's coming next? That is the only way you can win at this level. Sometimes it looks very simple to others. Look, it's a game, and whoever played better will go through. But it's not. It's about taking the pressure, leading forward. So this is when I was working with under 19. I realized then that look, this is how we progress. We were in a no position in '92 World Cup, and then Imran, lead us towards a victory, motivate us in a way, because I still remember 20 minutes of Imran's speech changed everything, entirely changed the Pakistani team's mindset. So this is how we talk to our youngsters, that look, this is what we can win this game if you believe in yourself, if you make it simple and don't crumble, just believe in yourself. When you believe in your ability, then you don't crumble, you stay in control. And pressure games and finals, and when you're crossing a line, it's really important you stay calm and confident.
Yeah, I always say if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will.
Yeah.
But you mentioned rhythm there, and I don't know if that's one of the factors. I'm hopeful you can explain to me. But why is it that Pakistan have just continued to produce world-class fast bowlers, more so than any other country from you up till now? What is it that your country's doing differently? Is it nutrition? Is it training? Is it this belief? What do you think it is?
I think one thing is really important, that you must have a role model. So luckily we had role models in the beginning, from Fazal Mahmood, Imran and Sarfaraz, and so many, then Waqar, Wasim. And then you must have environment. Environment means you will hardly find a fast bowler from metropolitan cities, where people stay in apartments, and something like in UAE. It's really hard to produce a real fast bowlers in UAE from flats, living in an apartment, taking a bus, going to the school, come back home, and then academies, cricket academies. And there is nothing which is natural. Like when I was young, I used to climb trees, chopping trees, running in the fields, diving into the canals and all this stuff. You need open fields. Environment is the key, and then definitely, and then afterwards, environment in cricketing environment, where you have such competition among you. I still remember when I was young, I was always wanted to be a fast bowler. I used to copy Imran or Malcolm Marshall or Dennis Lilly, and it's always strive me to become like them. And I think this is what really important is. And it's not only if you go to Pakistan, there are special areas. It's not everywhere. From Karachi, you will hardly see any fast bowlers, but when you go remote areas, like there's one point where near Multan, there is another fast bowling producing area where Waqar and Muhammad Zahid and Shabir Ahmad and Muhammad Irfan belongs to that area. You have to have something different than others, like I would say genetic or environmental effect in that area. So this is what really important. Yeah, it is. I mean, still, it's not very scientific, but this is what we experienced.
Yeah, there's a great book by Matthew Syed called Bounce, where he talks about how a local area can really improve the performance of the people. Like, for example, the excellent runners in Kenya from Iten, because they're all kind of in the one area, the environment helps. No, that's fascinating. Yeah. But right now in cricket at the moment, the batsmen are getting quite the advantage. Do you think it would become more of a level playing field if bowlers were able to perhaps tamper with the balls and be able to create reverse swing, and then we'd have a more level playing field between bowlers and batsmen?
I mean, look, ultimately, the cricket is like, the people want to see runs, people want to see fours and sixes, but at the same time, they really admired genuine fast bowling. Like Billy used to be really, really good ambassador for a fast bowlers. Crowd point of view, Imran had a huge impact. But what can be done is like making a pitches which is favorable to everyone, supporting pitches. I don't mind having a fast pace in cricket, but it should be supporting pitches where people can really see a bowler ramming and hitting hard bouncers and swinging Yorkers. I won't recommend somebody using unmeans ways to swing the ball, but reverse swing is not about tempering. It's about to some extent, it's about taking care of the ball. Because if you give that ball to every bowler, they won't understand how to create an angle. So with reverse swing and elite bowling, it's not about swing; it's about creating angles. But I still believe intelligent bowlers can produce a result even though without tempering. Every bowler does a bit. Use this creams or mint or using the nail or whatever. But there should be in a careful way. But I think there still need to look at it into the modern day cricket that it should be a level field by producing a good supporting pitches, which favors the both parties, batters and bowlers.
Okay, fair enough. And you mentioned bouncers there. I was watching on YouTube the other day when you had the row with the umpire in '92 against England. He felt that you were purposely throwing bouncers, and I could see that you were quite frustrated and quite angry, and you ended up taking the wicket. Were you a player who would get frustrated, and when that would happen, how would you channel that into productivity?
I mean, look, it was a history in that incident because there was a second test match in that series. In the first test match, when myself and Waqar was batting and the English bowler was really bouncing us, I had a few bruises in my body, and every time he was hitting me, I said, look, normally, tail-enders don't react to the bowler. I said, look, I'll see you next time in the game. Okay? It's quite painful, and you're going to get back. So this is what this game is. This is a competitive game. And then during the second test match, when he came to bat and I was bowling at the same time, so I was really, this is what competition is. Look, this is your turn. You have to take it. No, I'm not going to hurt you, but this is how you create pressure. And then, this is what it does. At that time, there was two bouncers, over you allowed for a bowler. And then once a bowler won, and I don't know the way he played that ball, and then a ball another one, then the umpire started giving me the warnings. I said, look, this is only a second one, but he said you wanted to hit him. And I said, look, this at this level you can't. This is not 50s or 40s cricket. This is modern day cricket, and it's competition. I wanted to take his wicket, to send him on the back foot, bounce him few. One or two, and then try to get him out. This is what it does with when you bowl a few bouncers and followed by a Yorker or a slower one. This is what a tactic every bowler should have. So there was an ugly incident. Didn't want to support that.
The Best in the World podcast with Richard Parr.
Did you know it's that tingly taste of toothpaste which has made brushing your teeth an everyday habit? Well, I didn't know that until I started listening to the audiobook The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Really interesting listen. Lots of information on what are good habits, what are bad habits, how we can adjust them, and how they can be used for advertising and marketing perhaps. So that's a really good listen. And if you want to have a listen to it, how about I give you a chance to do that for free? Yeah, all you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/best. That's www.audibletrial.com/best, and you can get a 30-day free trial with one free audiobook download. What a great deal that is. Why not go for it? Why not get into the habit of listening to an audiobook? Perhaps one every month, which of course you can do with audibletrial.com/best. We all know that some of these top sports people I speak to on the podcast are all part of good habits. We hear this from Aaqib Javed in this podcast. So let's get back to him. He is the best in the world.
The Best in the World podcast with Richard Parr.
How was your relationship with fellow bowlers Wasim, Akram and Waqar Younis? Obviously, you've got three great bowlers there. I have seen things written before where I think you felt that you should have been playing a bit more. But then, as you've also said to me earlier in this podcast, that it's the reason why Pakistan's so good at bowling is because there's great competition between such great players. It helps pushes you further. Is that what happened with you, Wasim and Waqar together?
I mean, look, they were two great bowlers. There's no doubt, and I have seen, I mean, we were very close friends outside the game, but in the game, there was always two battles going on. One among ourselves, and then the opposition, and there was really healthy competition, which there was. I've seen between Waqar and Wasim that the competition of taking 5 overs or taking more wickets than anyone else, that really strive you, push you going forward, because I've seen at one point you're tired, you don't want to bowl, but the competition among yourself and a competition which we created with that team was push you harder and harder, and that one step ahead that always give an advantage to the team. I think there was really good healthy competition among bowlers.
And what was your pre-match ritual? What did you have any kind of habits that you go through? Is there anything you'd particularly do before a match?
Two examples. You always give it to my players also. I said, look, I had two type of pre-game routines. One was like eating a healthy food, okay, sleeping early, and thinking positive. They want to take 5 wickets tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna take 5 wickets. I'll be the man of the match. I will do that. Staying in that mindset. And then suddenly the game starts, and after half an hour, you have bowled 5 overs, none for 40. And you started thinking, well, what happened to my plan? I was so disciplined. I was so positive. And then it didn't work out. That plan didn't work at that particular day. And then the other routine was, I used to think, okay, right, I'll have a normal life. Okay, I don't have to do anything special, because when you do something special, your mind, body assess there is something unusual coming up. They get conscious. I said, today I don't care. I don't even remind myself tomorrow I'm playing. Okay, what if something goes wrong? I don't bother. Okay, let it go. I will go there, try my best. And just before the game, sometime I figured it out. Okay, 10 overs, 70 for none. I can't go worse than that. Okay, try to make it better. So this second option worked out, well for me, because you don't create pressure on you, unnecessarily pressure on you. So these are the two routines I used to have, but I would opted for the second one. Staying positive is a good thing, but having a moderate goals and having always backup plan, it's always help you moving forward.
Okay. And you said that these routines were two things that you teach your players now as a coach. What have you learnt as a coach that you wish you'd known as a player?
I think there, there are many things. For example, in our playing days, there wasn't a much guidelines. Uh, we used to work hard, but not purposeful work hard, because I still remember that when we were preparing for '92 World Cup, and during that World Cup, I invented that slower ones. There was nothing, no preparation for that. So now when we try to prepare our bowlers or batters, they have much better routines, much better preparations. Now we have everything around a player. Uh, they have access to the physio trainer, a coaches, bowling coach to batting coach to fielding coach, uh, and I think this is really good for the game. Uh, and we used to have like a mentors who just guide you in a way, like, okay, just be positive. Okay, just be positive is not the preparation. It's just a starting point. Now people will lead up from be positive means what in batting. What have what positive things you can see and assess. Uh, you know, be precise. Uh, Talking in particular way that what is good bowling to you, what is your preparation. So about 80%, 90% the result before you go into the ground, because all depends on your preparation.
You're looking for your future, and that hopefully one day you'd like to be the head coach of Pakistan, and hopefully win a World Cup with them like you did as a player. But obviously there hasn't been any test matches in Pakistan for quite a few years. Do you think that could change with India or England or one of the other big test playing nations coming to tour anytime soon?
Uh, I think it's too early. Uh, I think it's going to take few more years, because gradually you got to start with your A teams, uh, or maybe teams like women's team, where people don't bother a lot, and gradually you build up a confidence. Uh, I think it will take another 4 or 5 years, uh, because I don't see still the Pakistan is ready to take that challenge bringing international big team in Pakistan. So I think it's a gradually, they can start with, inviting Zimbabwe or Ireland or something like this, but not high esteemed teams at the moment.
And I just want to get two quick questions on the future of cricket in general. Do you think that the Indian Cricket Board's influence on world cricket right now is a good thing?
Uh, I didn't like that idea when they came out with big three, because cricket is like, it's only limited teams already. It's not 100 teams like football or the other sports. Within good, if you see the actual cricket countries, strong teams, they're not more than 8, 9. Within 8, 9, you create another group which is big three. Uh, I didn't like it, the idea, and I think the new setup in India and the ICC, they realize that this is not the way you should run the international cricket, uh, and I think there's no doubt India is bringing a lot of money uh, in terms of sponsors and everything, but this cricket is really going through a really crucial time because people are getting busier and busier, and we have to, as cricket nations, we have to take a right step and spread this game to other countries, because there are only 8 to 9 would say a professional team in the world, and sometimes people get really surprised who don't understand cricket as a look. Oh, you won the World Cup. How many teams were playing? And then you say, okay, 14. So that's not the actual World Cup. We need to, spread this game. I know it's a difficult game to spread out, but still, I think the influence of Big Three should not be tolerated anymore.
Yeah, I can understand why, when last year's World Cup was such a great spectacle to watch, that surely they should be looking to be adding teams to it rather than taking away teams from it. It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and if you look at the performances of all the associate teams, they really entertain the world. I know it's a really difficult game to improve, because there are so many aspects: bowling, batting, on different pitches, different level. But that's what ICC and other countries' role is, to help spread this game to more and more countries, and bring them to a standard which is really enjoyable for the viewers' point of view. They wanted to see new teams, getting better and better at performing at the international level.
Yeah, exactly. I've taken so much of your time. I just want to get one more question in, and that's, like you said earlier, you were one of the youngest players to play, and at 19 years old, you took a hat trick.
Yeah.
And I believe the third wicket, correct me if I'm wrong, was Sachin Tendulkar.
Yes.
What was going through your mind just before that third ball? Could you quite believe what was going to happen? And then, when it did happen, how did you feel?
I mean, look, you can't plan hat tricks, okay? You can't plan when you make some records. But at that time, one thing you always know, that this ball you're sure about, you can hit that area. And that's what you say. I am at the peak of my bowling. I'm in my best rhythm and control. So I was really sure that I can bring that ball in and try to bowl him out or leg before. That I was sure. And I think rest, it's all about the batsman. But I still believe that when I'm running in, I wasn't 100% sure. Nobody can be sure about the results, but I was very sure that this ball going to hit the stumps.
Aaqib Javed, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for being the best in the world.
Thank you. No problem.
The Best in the World podcast with Richard Parr.
Great to get the thoughts of Aaqib Javed on the best in the world with Richard Parr, our first cricketer on the podcast. Of course, we'll be having more cricketers, but of course, we'll be expanding our show to all different types of sports so we can pick the brains of some of the most successful sports stars on the planet. We've got 12 previous episodes for you to dig into, get your teeth into if you haven't already. And I'd love it if you would give me a review on iTunes, rate and review, or even send me a message directly on Twitter. That's at Richard_Parr, or on my website, richardparr.net. Your feedback really helps improve this show. It helps me ask the questions that you want to know, and hopefully we can get the answers which can help you in your sporting ambitions or in your everyday life. So that's Twitter at Richard_Parr, Facebook page Best in the World with Richard Parr, and the website richardparr.net. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of Richard Parr. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I'll be back next Wednesday with the latest episode of The Best in the World. Have a great week.
The Best in the World podcast with Richard Parr.